When doing an estate plan, it is so important to take family dynamics into consideration. The idea of doing estate planning is to avoid those family conflicts that can arise. Oftentimes we see clients that come in where parents have passed away and they're the matriarch of the family, and at this point the siblings just stop getting along, and when there's money involved, things just go wrong from there. When you are completing your estate plan, it is important to think about who is going to be the best agent to act on your behalf if you are no longer able to, whether it's in your will or your trust. Oftentimes we see with families where there's multiple children, we find that parents will usually pick the oldest because they're the oldest, right? They should be the ones that's in charge. But what I have found over the years is that the oldest isn't necessarily the fairest. And I've had quite a few cases where the oldest is actually a bully, and that bully is mean to the rest of the kids, which therefore causes conflict and attorney's fees, because now everybody has their own attorney and the families are just fighting with no near end in sight that is going to be a good fit for this family. Families are literally torn apart as they are going through this process because it's not thought out well who should be in charge of distributing the assets upon your passing. So when you're taking it into consideration, think about who is going to be the best fit, not necessarily who you think deserves to do it just because of their status or their age. Think about who is going to be the fairest, who's going to treat all the siblings fair, be in communication with all, and make sure that they can act from a caring perspective in this very stressful time. As you complete your estate plan and over the course of your life, you're going to have certain times in your life that you're going to need to update your estate plan. It's just as life happens, certain situations are going to arise. Maybe the people that you wanted as agents in the beginning aren't people that you're even friends with anymore. So it's important to take a look at your estate plan every 3 to 5 years and just see, who do you have listed as your agents? Who are your beneficiaries? What are your healthcare decisions? When it comes to your children, making sure, what is the situation going on with my kids, that are they in the right role at this time? I have a client whose father passed away, and he was a beneficiary of his father's trust. The trust was not done by us, but he came to us as a beneficiary because he felt like his rights weren't being upheld through the trust administration. And what ended up happening was my client's sister was the trustee of her father's trust, and there was a home that was involved, and the dad had passed away 4 years prior to my client coming to see us. And at this point, he was done. He was done with trying to get information, with the sister not moving forward, and he just needed help. So what ended up happening is the sister, who was the trustee, actually had her son move into the dad's house, and the son was living there throughout this whole period. So we had to file a petition with the court to get this trustee removed because they were not doing anything to actually administer the trust, right? To actually sell this house that was part of dad's estate and distribute it equally between the two children. So the way that this case ended up, it was very much in favor of our client, because our client was able to actually get the back rent from the son that moved into this house and lived in dad's home for 4 years, right? Because that house should have been sold and it should have been distributed to her years before. So if you are a beneficiary and in a case like this, or you have some situation where the trustee maybe isn't being fair, right? They're not doing the things that they need to do. They're not communicating with you. Then please reach out to an estate planning attorney. These are things that we help clients with all the time to make sure that their rights are being fairly treated to them and they are getting what they deserve through their inheritance.